Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. It is the end of the year, and generally the end of the year is marked with a lot of good food, great music, going out, partying, but unfortunately the pandemic year has changed things up a bit. But there's some good news coming through. The state government has announced concessions to the liquor license fees, so it may come as a bit of a relief. We have two gentlemen joining us now to tell us which way things are headed. Anjan Chatterjee, the chairman and MD at Speciality Restaurants, and Navin, Gurnaney, the CEO of Tata Starbucks, joins in. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. Mr. Chatterjee, I want to start with you. It has been a really tough year for the industry, and I guess the final nail on the coffin were these curfews that have just been announced in the state of Maharashtra. But you tell us, I mean, how will the night curfew really impact the business, if at all? Because in any case, most restaurants were asked to shut around 10:30. So many were not functional at all. You know, there was just deliveries, etc. Will this night curfew impact business?
See, we were at 11:30 to put things on record. It was 11:30 and that's become now 11 o'clock. So I don't think it makes any difference because people anyway are getting used to a new normal and accepting the fact that, you know, days like the Christmas Eve and maybe the 31st, wherein people would not be able to enjoy it till 3 a.m., 2 a.m., which has been the historicals. But I completely understand the fact that people are very adaptable. We've been extremely happy that, you know, fortunately we are a food-led company, whether it's a mainland China, Calcutta, Sigri, everything is, we are primarily a food-led company. We have support from the liquor-led outlets, which are bars. So we are extremely happy the way people have come back to the dine-in in their own way, and also the delivery, which has become extremely important. For that matter, people are used to celebrating at home now, and they're getting more and more adapted to the fact that, and as you know, that the corona fear is going down in India, and everything put together, you know, it looks like as if they've never, I mean, it's like there's no tomorrow kind of feeling we are getting in this particular patch of time. And I mean, we are very optimistic and we are very happy with the way things are going.
Okay, I'll just get first thoughts from Navin as well before I come back to you, Mr. Chatterjee. Navin, you know, how's the third quarter itself been? Up until September, I think you told us that you all are 71 or 70%, right, of last year's revenue. Third quarter, have you all made it to 100%? And December itself, are you also noticing the same desire to socialize or at least take away eats?
Morning, Lita. Thanks for having me. Yes, so as I mentioned to you the last time we talked, there has been continuous sequential improvement, and fourth quarter has definitely been substantially better than third quarter, particularly December. I am impressed with how substantially demand has come back. Now, we do operate with 50% seating, so that certainly you know, puts a dent into things. But overall, I would say that we continue to be very pleased with the way you know, things are coming back, and looking forward to the continued improvement that we've been seeing in recent months.
How many of your outlets are open? When you last told us it was 86%, it remains 86%?
So we have 205 stores. We've opened 17 stores through COVID. And as of yesterday, we were at 186 stores open.
Okay, got that. Sonia?
Yeah, Mr. Chatterjee, I wanted your thoughts. You know, you started the conversation by saying that people have now adapted to the new normal. The night curfew won't impact much. I want to understand, how has your company adapted to the new normal? Are you seeing a lot more takeaways, deliveries compared to dine-ins? And would that make you change your strategy entirely? I mean, would you look to close down more restaurants and perhaps focus more on having delivery kitchens, etc.? I mean, just trying to understand what the strategy could be over the next 1 year.
Yeah, you see, with the advent of people, you know, the whole space changing towards delivery, people are getting used to, as the dine-ins go down, people start delivering and getting food home. So based on that, we've already adapted ourselves to ensure that the number of stores that we had planned in this year, because the fact that, you know, We do not want, unlike like Mr. Gurnaney's kind of a space wherein it's in and out, and even if it's 50%, that's good enough a capacity to go in. But for a fine dining to operate, since we have large restaurants, we need to understand and try and optimize and sweat our assets. So this is exactly what we're doing. We're putting kitchens within kitchens. The other brands are coming in, and we are focusing. In fact, if you ask me, even as we talk about 60% of our business, even now during the lockdown, and even now it's sustaining to 45% is delivery, which is growing by the day, by the hour. So we have adapted everything accordingly. So why would I want to put in so much of money in my capital expenditure to build a restaurant at this point of time? So we are doing a mix and match of that. And I think that going forward, it'll be, I mean, the word called cloud kitchen, which is very badly abused, is not the fact that if you don't have a brand, how do you do a cloud? You need to have a brand to ensure that you go across and people have a demand. So I think we have taken a strategy to be reaching the customer wherever we are not present through the POD, that is called the point of deliveries, and certain cloud kitchens, centralized kitchens. So that's we've already built around 9 of them, and then we, in this particular 6 months that we already lined up around 18 of them. So going to penetrate that becomes much easier. The cost is rationalized, staff is controlled. So I think that going forward there'll be a lot of right sizing coming in.
Okay, that's a very important point, because that was my question to Mr. Gurnaney as well. Mr. Gurnaney, for Starbucks particularly, can you tell us, now that people are, I mean, there are more deliveries, there are more takeaways of coffee, I assume, that's what the data indicates. Would you renegotiate your rent agreements lower? Would you also look to, sort of maybe close down a couple of stores, focus more on deliveries, takeaways? How would you rationalize your costs over the next 6 to 12 months?
So let me answer the first question first. Speaking of cost rationalization, that I suspect it is for everybody, but for us, it's a continuous improvement process, right? We're constantly looking for ways to rationalize our cost structure so that we can pass on more value to our partners and to our customers. We've been working with our landlord partners right from day one, right? And I have to thank the store development team as well as the landlord partners on how well they've come together and amicably arrived at solutions that help us sustain the business. So as far as closure of stores concerned, there is not a single store that I would attribute to this store has closed on account of COVID. Now, certain stores are currently closed because they happen to be in office complexes where the occupancy, as you know, is practically zero. And those stores are temporarily shut and will reopen once people start coming back to the offices. But we've done a number of things, right? While delivery has gone up, right? While takeaway is up from the pre-COVID environment, but even today, 65 to 70% of our business is dine-in, despite the 50% cut in capacity. And that's because of the incredible safety protocols that we have in place, and our partners are following that meticulously. And I tell you, there was a time when I would get text messages from people saying, hey, I went to one of your stores, this new beverage was awesome, da-da-da. Now the messages that I get is, hey, I went to your store and I can't tell you how impressed I was with how well the safety protocols are being followed. So people feel comfortable sitting there. And if you go to a Starbucks now, between the peak hours, you'd have some trouble finding a seat, but customers are also, accommodating and so on and so forth. So we are getting by. Given the conditions, we are getting by. And to your earlier question that you mentioned about an early closure, to us it did make a small difference, right? Because in order for our partners to get home safely, we need to start closing these stores at about 9:15, so they can finish their closing procedures, sanitize the whole place, and then actually safely get back home.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got into our peak hours, but we are hoping that things will change soon. It's been a bit of a start-stop situation.
Okay. Well, can I get just a couple of numbers, Navin? December revenues versus December 2019 revenues, or if you're more comfortable giving November, have you reached 100% of November of 2019?
So, Lata, as you know, we don't discuss specific numbers.
I'm not asking you a specific number at all. I'm just asking you distance from normalcy.
Yeah, there's been a very, very substantial improvement, and I can see the 100% line right there. How's that for a number?
Okay, round the corner, you mean?
Not even round the corner. I can see it.
Oh, okay, you're there. Well, likewise to you, Mr. Chatterjee. Would you say December will do as well as December 2019?
Yeah, with the number of stores we are operating, I think we are almost reaching 100%.
Okay, but revenues, I'm asking, in terms of...
Yeah, absolutely right. So I'm just talking about the number of stores because we've rationalized, we've right-sized some of them. Some of them have not opened because we've not had the right kind of discussion with the real estate owners. There's some in progress. So with that in mind, I mean, I think apple to apple, it's perfect.
All right. Okay, we'll leave it at that, and I hope for both of you and your establishments and your inmates have a great Christmas and a great New Year and a great 2021. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Lata. Thank you.
Okay, quickly get to the financials. The numbers posted by Speciality are strong over the last 5 years. Revenue will come up few, and then you will have the profit picture as well. So revenue is steadily growing. Of course, FY21 will be different. It's been a very cruel year. And Speciality was actually reducing its losses, but it's been fits and starts. Okay, we won't go with Starbucks because it's unfair. It's a small part of Tata Consumer. We'll take a break on that note, and thereafter, you're going to get all the golden trades, the commodity trades and ways to make money from Manisha Gupta in a minute.